Welcome to Love and Abuse, the show about helping you identify poisonous communication and toxic behavior. You deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. That's why it's important that you learn to pinpoint manipulative and controlling behavior so that you keep your power and your sanity. I'm your host, Paul Coliani. Welcome back to another show. I want to kind of share with you something that I learned a long time ago, and it's in the world of hypnosis. I have been certified by 2 schools of hypnosis, and I learned a lot about the subconscious mind. And that is very, very helpful when it comes to learning how people influence you. And so I became fascinated by the subconscious mind and fascinated by influence. Both ethical and unethical. Not that I practiced the unethical, at least not consciously, because I've certainly had my moments, especially in my marriage, where I was not very ethical. I was a good manipulator. And so coming out of that and looking back, I can see the techniques or methods that I used, and I didn't even know I was doing it. But coming out of the world of hypnosis, there is a term called the confusion technique. And manipulators of all types will use confusion to put you in sort of a trance-like state. And what I mean by that, I don't know if you've ever listened to someone's monologue or lecture or just sat there waiting for someone to stop talking and they were talking about something that didn't quite make it into your logical brain. You didn't understand it. You just sat there going, well, I can catch some of this, but not all of it. Like a highly scientific lecture if you're not scientific, or someone talking about how to fix a car in a lot of detail and you have no idea what they're talking about because they're using car terminology. You can get confused. You can start to zone out and you might sit there like a deer in the headlights waiting for them to stop. This is actually a trance induction technique in hypnosis. It's not used as often as it used to be, as far as I know. I haven't been in that world for a long time, but it is still used conversationally and hopefully for good, but it is also used for bad. And a lot of people do it without even knowing they know what they're doing. I mean, they don't know they're causing you to go into a trance or zoned out like state. So they just keep doing it because it seems to work. It's like a dog figures out how to get a snack by turning around or begging or staring at you with those cute eyes, and you'll eventually give them a snack. Some people will. And when you give them the snack, they realized, oh, what I just did worked. And so a lot of people that want to manipulate you will use this technique, again, probably unknowingly, because they just learned what works and they just repeat it, but they don't realize they're using it. So why do they do it? They want to put you in a trance-like or zoned out state so that you look for any escape. Now, there's a logic to this. If you're confused, if I'm talking about something that you have no idea about, like a good example is this, and this is one of the hypnosis techniques. Take your right hand and put it on your left leg. And as you watch your right hand left sitting there on the leg, I want you to lift your left hand right in front of you and take it and put it on your right leg. And as it sits right there, left all by itself, take the left hand and put it over the right hand. And right away, you'll be left thinking that the left hand is right on top of the right hand. And if you notice the right hand, if you turn it around and leave it left sitting on your left arm, you'll start to get a warm feeling in your chest, and you'll feel so good being able to put your hands by your side and just relax. Now, what I did there, you may have followed along, but a lot of people will try to follow that and get caught up in the left-right thing. And so their brain is going to try to connect these dots and follow this linear progression that I'm doing. But the brain tends to get confused because there's just so many ways I'm using right and left. And am I talking about the hand, or am I just saying the word right? And is that right? And is it on the right? And what does that mean? But you notice at the end, I stopped saying it and I took you out of it. I said, you feel more relaxed and you feel this warm feeling in your chest as you put your hands down by your side. That's something the brain can really comprehend and latch onto and wants to do. And this is part of what makes the confusion technique work so well, is that somebody can confuse you by continuing to talk to you about something that either you have no interest in, or they know that you're not going to be able to follow along very well. So they're going to continue talking and talking and talking. And what your brain is doing is looking for an escape. It's looking for something it understands. It's looking for something that makes it feel better. What makes it feel better? How about a subliminal command? How about something that says, and you will do this for me? It's exactly what happened to me when I was married. It happened to my wife and I. We were sitting outside a restaurant, and I think we were getting ready to go. And it was at night. Somebody walked up to the car, to my side, the passenger side window, and I just rolled it down an inch or two, and this guy just started talking. Hey, I just want to ask you a question. My sister's in the hospital, and I don't have any gas. And he just went on and on and on. He told this long story, and both of us were kind of caught off guard, which is another hypnotic technique. If you're caught off guard, it's kind of like a pattern interrupt. Your pattern's interrupted, so you go into this trance-like state. Then he had so many facets to this story that it was very hard to keep up. And my wife and I just sat there waiting for his story to end, and it wouldn't end. And we both wanted it to end badly. And he finally hit the end. He finally got to the part where he said, and I just need to borrow some money. It was just someone asking for money. But he had this long, convoluted story that he knew worked because we both reached in and grabbed $1 and gave it to him. And then when he left, we both looked at each other and asked, what just happened? We felt completely hypnotized. We wanted him to stop talking so badly that when he asked for $1, it was like saying, I will shut up if you pay me. And this is part of the manipulation that can happen. And I've seen other people on the street do this same technique, but I've also seen it in many, many relationships. I've seen many people do this. They will put someone in a state of impatience, frustration, confusion, until they get to the point where they're so frustrated, impatient, or confused that they're looking for any way out. And what is that way out? The way out is going to be what the manipulator wants. And that's what we tend to listen for, is what do they want? Because you probably want them to stop talking. And you'll get to the point where you'll do anything to make them stop talking. And then they'll get their way, because the problem is we are in a state of confusion, and we don't want to be in a state of confusion because it's very uncomfortable, and we're looking for the easy escape. We're looking for the path out of there. And this can happen over and over again. I had a client send me a recording of her and her husband would not stop talking. He would not stop talking. He kept talking to her. This is the same thing that my girlfriend went through with her ex-husband. She told me of his monologues that continued on and on and on. And then I got to experience it for myself. I've actually talked to this guy, and he doesn't stop talking. He just keeps talking. And not that over talking I'm saying is a bad thing, but when it's used in a manipulation, and I'm not saying he was trying to manipulate me, but I don't know, but I don't think he's gotten anything from me. But when he was married, he would use that as a way not to talk about what really needed to be talked about, which was his behavior, or something that he wanted to get away with, or something that he didn't want to talk about. So he would talk and talk and talk about something else. So this excessive talking can often be a part of the confusion technique to get you into a space that you just want a way out. And you might sit there for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes listening to this, looking for that door, the proverbial door. You're looking for that way out. And what way out do they give you? Something that benefits them and not you. And so I want you to be aware of techniques like this, and I'll share more in future episodes, but the confusion technique is often used unknowingly. Like, I don't think there's a book for well, there might be on unethical influencing of people, but we all need to know what's possible. We all need to know how we end up being in these trance-like states, even though you may not have called it that, but that's what they are. We're in these trance-like states, and we're looking for a way out of it. We don't want to stay there. We don't want to stay frustrated. We don't want to stay in this place of impatience. We don't want to be confused. We want to feel more comfortable. And when our brain is confused, when we're uncomfortable, we feel it and we don't like it, and we will do most anything to get out of it. And the unethical person will know this, and they will use it against us. And some people don't even know they're doing it. They just know what they do works, and how they get what they want works. So if you ever find yourself in this state of, why did I just do that? Why do I always give in? Why do I continually give him or her what he or she wants? It may have to do with you looking for that easy way out. And so one way to counter this, and it's not easy, is to continually stop the person doing this. Continually stop them and say, wait, what do you mean by that? Wait, back up. When you said this, what did that mean? When you said that, did you mean this? Now, that's one way. There's probably other methods, but what you're trying to do is continually interrupt their pattern. And again, that may be hard because you may have already established the type of communication relationship that you have, and it's hard to break that. So if you suddenly start going, wait, back up, they may go, what? They may get frustrated themselves. But maybe that's where you want them. Maybe it's time to take over the conversation. And this is another way to break this old pattern, is you take over the conversation and you stop staring like a deer in the headlights waiting for them to stop. Again, that's a tough thing to do, but at least if you know about this, then you can almost predict what's going to happen next. You can almost predict that they are going to lead you down a road that they want you to be on, because they know that you're going to be so frustrated or confused where you are that you're more willing to accept that. In hypnosis, this can be used in an ethical way. You can be confused with the right-left thing, and then I might say, during those stressful moments, you'll feel so relaxed. And that will be more likely taken as a command in your subconscious mind, so that you get out of confusion. And not only do you get out of confusion, now you have a warming thought, a comfortable thought that you can actually latch onto and utilize when you need it. Unfortunately, manipulators don't do that. They instead take you down a different road and they get what they want. And it has nothing to do with what's in your best and highest interest, and only theirs. So I wanted to share this confusion technique with you. It's not necessarily an emotional abuse term or a manipulation term. It does come from the world of hypnosis. There are many facets to understanding manipulative language, poisonous language, toxic language. And in this case, what I talked about today comes from an ethical place, comes from a positive place where people will use it in a healthy way to help someone through a challenge they're having. But people twist things, people use things. Just like if you're compassionate and kind and generous, a manipulator, an emotional abuser will use those things against you. They will turn your compassion against you. They will turn your kindness against you. They will use your compassion to get what they want, because they will play the victim, or they will set up a scenario where they know you'll be compassionate for someone else, so it serves them in some way. There's so many facets to this and so much we can get into. Lots of episodes coming. Thank you for joining me today. Love and Abuse is the official podcast of the Mean Workbook, which is an assessment and healing guide for difficult relationships. And if you want to pinpoint the exact behaviors causing any difficulties in your relationship, head over to loveandabuse.com. This show exists to remind you that you are not alone and you're not going crazy. You deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. You deserve honesty and sincerity. You deserve to be treated as worthy and significant, because you are. Thank you again for joining me today. We'll talk again soon.